Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video. And the United Stormwind meta, the early meta, has been polarizing to say the least. People loving the craziness, some people hating it. But there is one popular sentiment amongst a lot of players is that the combo, the uninteractive stuff going on way too early in the game has been quite frustrating. And people would like to see some changes in some stuff. And Ixarna's latest AMA said that they're going to be talking about balance within the team next week. So we could see a balance patch as early as next week. And I thought today we could go over some cards that I would like to see get nerfed, as well as maybe cards that are like a watch list, like honorable mention in the near future. But before we do that, let's hear a word from this video sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Fatal Core, which is an independent TCG that seeks to break the standards set by bigger card games. It's 100% free, and every card and in-game item is earned by the player and freely tradable in a player-controlled market. I'm excited to talk about, or one of the few early people to talk about, the new draft mode that's been introduced into Fatal Core, which has the typical draft mechanics of, you pick from a selection of cards, build your deck, but players will also have a chance of creating their own cards and putting it into their deck. No two games of draft will ever be the same. The Steam release is set up to go approximately out at the end of August, and a very easy way for you to access it is to add it to your wish list on Steam like I have. And Fatal Core is also looking for beta testers and would love to have you check it out. You can check out the links below, as well as check out their website, fatalcoretcg.com. And if you use our link right now, you will get 10,000 PF, which is their in-game currency, which effectively will allow you to build a full collection. So check out Fatal Core, and let's get back to the video. And thanks to Fatal Core for sponsoring this video. And yeah, so I wanted to go over what cards I think will get nerfed or should get nerfed, and then some honorable mentions or just like watch list cards that I think could definitely be considered, maybe in the next balance patch, but at some point. And I don't think everything should be blown up. The meta is changing a lot. I still think you can wait a week or so to see what happens. We've seen Hand Buff Paladin really rise. There's a lot of good decks doing a lot of good stuff right now, but the solitaire nature of a lot of them is turning a lot of people off, and that just cannot be denied, and I think that needs to be respected. So we'll start with my watch list of cards, not necessarily cards I think will get nerfed right away, but should be considered. First being Ignite, the 2-mana mage spell, deal 2 damage, you shuffle 1 into your deck, it deals more. This infinite value thing, that's just going to be a thing. I don't think you're going to nerf. I think I talked to Raven, Hearthstone caster, in Cantaloupe's chat the other day, that they would only shuffle 1 copy and that would be it. I don't think that'll happen. The only thing I could see happening to Ignite is maybe it goes up to 3 mana, kind of reminiscent of the old like Forgotten Torch, but I don't see Ignite getting nerfed anytime soon. I would think other mage cards, we'll talk about that, probably get nerfed first, but maybe it's too cheap and flexible for an infinitely scaling damage spell. But as it stands, Ignite's just one of those cards I'd keep an eye out for, but again, I don't think we'll get directly nerfed right away. Another card I would keep an eye on is Battleground Battlemaster. This card's already popping up in a ton of decks. It's already got the nickname of Lotheb because it's the 5-mana win the game card a lot of the time. But primarily it's popping up in like, well, Handlock. You can make your Giants have Wind Fury, Hand Buff Paladin because, Conviction plus this is just insane, plus all the hand buffing and your big minions. Even Quest Rogue, I've been playing Quest Rogue, has been running it because you play Scabs, you give it attack and stealth, and then you just give it Wind Fury. So it's like this insane finisher. But again, I wouldn't nerf this card at all right away, considering it rewards having board presence right now, and that I feel like should be rewarded more than anything. But it is one of those cards that, like Apotheosis, they said it was frustrating that you leave any minion up, you might, you lose the game because of that effect, getting the big heal. Well, you leave any minion up after turn 5. With Battlemaster being a card, it might be a little bit frustrating that you'll automatically die, especially when like Savage or Bloodlust go to the game. So I don't think it should get nerfed anytime soon, but again, it's something to keep an eye on. And the other one is Lightning Bloom, 0-mana spell, gain 2 mana crystals, and you overload 2. It just creates these snowball early turns, degenerate turns, especially with the Shaman Quest. You're able to double up on this and just gain like infinite mana. I just feel like Innervate was nerfed for a reason back in the day, and Lightning Bloom, it's been around since Skullman's. It has somehow been untouched, and I expect it to remain untouched, but it's one of those cards that you always got to look out for because it just creates these ridiculous turns. And yeah, you're overloaded, but if you win the game, do you really care if you're overloaded? So the last one I'll mention is Efficient Octobot. the Emperor Thorson for Rogue. Again, it just creates these ridiculous early game turns where you can just do absurd stuff. We've seen it now with the Bleeds deck. We've seen it with, like, you know, cheating out Jandis, Kazakus, Alex Strazen, Ten Wooing it, all this type of stuff. Again, I think they want Rogue to do this. I don't think it gets nerfed, but I feel like Emperor Thorson was 6 mana, legendary for a reason, making it 2 mana, and now Warlock has it for 3 mana with the weapon is a bit silly, but again, not one I expect to see get nerfed. So let's go into the cards that I could see realistically getting nerfed in the next balance patch, and I have 5 of them. I have 5 of them that I have listed here, and I would be happy with all of them getting nerfed. And again, you guys can let me know in the comments below what you would like to see get nerfed, not get nerfed. You're free to disagree with any of these. You're free to suggest your own, but I just put my thoughts out there. Number 5 we have here is Il'gynoth, the Demon Hunter legendary. I've been saying this for a long time. It's a 4 mana 2/6 lifesteal minion, and now with the new Demon Hunter quest, you're not even running Skull of Gul'dan anymore. They're literally not running Skull because you get so much mana cheat, and that's cool. Cheating mana is fine to the extent, but it's creating these turn 4 or 5 lethals with Il'gynoth, and that's just, it just shouldn't be a thing. Il'gynoth is just, it's been one of these cards that I have 2 copies of. I have a golden and regular one. I refuse to disenchant the other one because I honestly believe it needs to get nerfed. It just creates these games where you do just an absurd amount of damage and kill your opponent with no interaction way too early. And I mean, they want this side quest or quest line to work, right? They want it to be cool. Should it just be there for Il'gynoth? Like, I feel like you could do other stuff, and I feel like it was intended for other things, but right now it's just, you know, get Il'gynoth, turn 5, 6, you win the game. It's just, it's a little bit silly. I don't even know if like bumping it up to 5 or 6 would do anything. I just feel like, I've always felt like this card that you should have to only be able to damage for what you're damaged, right? Like, it should only give the lifesteal damage for what you're missing in health. I feel like if you lifesteal and you gain, let's say, 20 health, then you do 20 damage. That's kind of how I've always felt about it, but I feel like if they do nerf it, it would be a mana cost thing. I don't think they're going to change the way the card works, but I just think we've had OTKDH in the game for so long, and a lot of people really despise it. I think it's time to let some other Demon Hunter strategies really thrive, other than, you know, just Death Rattle, because Death Rattle's still decent, but I feel like Il'gynoth is a card that probably should get hit by now. At number 4, and believe it or not, I'm going to suggest nerfing an aggro deck. It feels like nobody ever suggests aggro nerfs, but I'm going to say Kolkar Pack Runner for Hunter. The 2 mana 2/3 minion that every time you cast a spell, you get a 1/1 with Rush. This is like Violet Teacher for half the mana, plus your tokens give Rush. This card alone, in my opinion, allows Hunter to control every single early matchup, because they always have a Kolkar Pack Runner into just Wound Prey. They're always going to clear the board. They're always going to keep the board, push damage, and then they have all this great burn. They're going to kill you. They're going to kill you with their burn options, and I just feel like the best aggro class right now shouldn't have the best early game. It should be a compromise. Either they have the best reach in like the Rhino and your piercing shot, and we have the new 3 mana spell in there as well that pushes a bunch of damage, that it shouldn't just be, well, I play Kolkar Pack Runner, you can never kill it because it has 3 health, and then I dictate the board and kill you and win. I just feel like Face Hunter has been so dominant for so long. It's been a tier 1 deck for a very long time. That Kolkar Pack Runner to me is that card that just lets them win the early game way too reliably, way too easily, and it's like compared to Gibberling, which recently got nerfed. They're effectively the same effect for the same mana cost, except Kolkar has way more stats and its tokens give Rush. Yes, Hunter can't buff the board like a Druid can, but at the same time, it's kind of insane that Kolkar is this. So I'd make it 3 mana, a 2/2, make it more vulnerable or make it more expensive. That's what I would do, and at least finally have a nerf towards Face Hunter, which hasn't seen anything for a very long time. Number 3, I would just change the way the spell damage currently works with the bleeds. Currently right now there's a Miracle Rogue list that can kill you from in hand turns like 5 and 6 with like Octobot, and then you just go Auctioneer and just kill your opponent bleeds, because you can just give your Auctioneer spell damage for 0 mana effectively with the Aug Merchant, Shadow Step, and Octobot, and then kill your opponent from in hand. I just feel like we used to saw like Malagos would not self-inflict damage with bleeds, Hakar bleeds, that it should be consistent the other way. I don't know. There's even a debate apparently between the devs whether this is intended or not. I saw Twitter back and forth between, I believe, Boar and Gallon, who are both with HS devs right now, and they didn't seem to be clear on how it should work. And I just feel for the health of the game, spell damage shouldn't scale the bleeds, and it'd probably be more in line with how I felt the bleeds were supposed to be, of just like this cycle, push some damage but not an obscene amount of damage, and then you wouldn't have this OTK Miracle Rogue deck killing people on turns 4 and 5, creating this horrible uninteractive experience. At number 2, I'm gonna go with what I think is one of the worst designed cards in the current Hearthstone game, and that's Sealer of Souls. Yes, this card's already banned in Wild because it was so broken in Wild they just couldn't bother to try and fix it, so they just banned it. And now in Standard, well, it's kind of breaking the game again because, well, you kind of have immunity in Standard with the new Warlock questline, and rather than just nerfing the questline and making it harder to complete, because that's probably all you can do with that questline is up all the damage requirements, is get rid of the infinite mana generator. I just don't understand why Stealer of Souls is infinite, like it could create infinite mana. I've said since day one, I'm pretty sure, that this card should say the first card you play or draw this turn, you can use health instead. Like, compare it to old Cho'Gall. That was a one-time thing. It was a legendary minion. It cost like 8 mana or 7 mana, and you have Stealer of Souls, which you can cheat out with free admission for absurd amount, as well as your new weapon, and just do ridiculously broken things. I just feel like Stealer of Souls should be a one-time effect, not infinite carryover, ridiculous scaling, and then you can put it back to Wild. If it's a one-time effect, you can unban it from Wild, and the card just gives you a good mana bomb, and that's it. Like, even like the legendary mini for Priest that draws 2 cards you can use for health. 2, not just forever and ever. And I feel like Stealer of Souls is obscene. It's obscene. It shouldn't be an infinite value type of bomb. It should be a one-time deal or a one-time a turn deal, and leave it at that. I think this card is egregious, and I really do hope they address it rather than just, you know, well, we banned it in Wild. Like, I was not happy with that shortcut, to say the least, and I really hope that they nip this in the bud now. And the number 1 card I would like to see get nerfed, Incanter's Flow. Like, seriously. Rarin tweeted this, Orange tweeted this, although I don't know, did Orange steal this from Rarin? Drama. But yes, can we just get rid of Incanters? Either delete it, nerf it, obliterate it. This card is so frustrating. I keep saying I'm fine with the questline mage deck. It's a burn deck, that's fine. But when they play Incanters, it just feels like they're playing with cheat codes. It's like, oh, they just didn't have to pay for it and they get to win. I hate a card that says if it's in your opener, you're probably gonna win. I feel like that's unhealthy. I don't think that's a strategy. I don't think that's fun for the game. It's just a high roll. It's bullshit. It's not fun. It's just stupid. And I said when they nerfed Spring Water, it should have been Flow, and we're back in the spot where everyone's after Flow. Let's just correct the mistake we made the first time and nerf Incanters this time, and then see how Spell Mage works out, and if it's a bit more reasonable. Maybe it's terrible, maybe it's unplayable, but at least it's not as infuriating, and there's plenty of unplayable decks in Hearthstone anyways, but at least it won't like make me lose the little hair I have left. So let me know in the comments below what you think. What should get nerfed, what shouldn't get nerfed? Do you leave everything? I always love to hear it. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.